With spring training in progress, there is no lack of drama for the Philadelphia Phillies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. My name is Zach. With me is Andrew, and we're back to talk about things Philly sports. Now that Phillies spring training has started, the Phillies are in swing, so to speak, and it is time to get excited for some Philadelphia Phillies news. Uh, some of it good, some of it bad, some of it we're not sure yet. So I think we're going to start with the hottest topic, which is the breaking news, so to speak, of the day. Not breaking news to you guys because this will be a couple days later, but Johan Rojas getting banned from the World Baseball Classic. Now, for anyone that doesn't know but listen to our podcast, the World Baseball Classic is happening this month, Andrew, next month.
Starts Friday,
There
March
you go.
6th.
This month was the correct answer. But yeah, the World Baseball Classic, which is essentially like a FIFA World Cup of baseball, right? And it's pretty exciting. We're all excited. It's a great time. Rojas getting banned from it, but we're not sure what substance for. And then on top of that, not being banned as of right now from the MLB brings a lot of question as to what it is, whether it's really that big of a deal, and why the ban exists.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's a very interesting um, situation because, yeah, he's banned from the World Baseball Classic. The MLB hasn't released anything. So it's like, what was it? What is the situation? Phillies don't have a good track record as of late. Obviously, Jose Alvarado got suspended last season. Max Kepler got suspended this offseason. So if Rojas does, when it's all said and done, and I don't know if they're investigating or whatever it is, but hypothetically, let's just say the MLB cracks down on him too. That's three Phillies in the last year. Not a good look from a franchise standpoint. I mean, I don't know if that's who that, I mean, that partially to me, I mean, I know you know what you're putting in your body, but to me, if you're getting three in the last year, it's part on, I feel like, I don't know if it's the athletic training staff, the nutrition, the like part people on roster, I don't know. But
It feels like
yeah,
someone
very
in the
interesting.
office should be ahead of this. Like,
Yeah,
what is
very
going
interesting
on?
situation. But hopefully, it's nothing against MLB rules and it's all settled. But it's also weird in the sense of, I mean, whatever they've done, it hasn't helped them. Max Kepler struggled last year.
Right.
Rojas has been up and down from the majors. And I mean Alvarado struggled when he came back from the suspension, but yeah, it's funny because yeah, usually on the other teams it's always like they're top tier players or something and it's
Yeah.
helping you get to the next level where the Phillies think our guys keep struggling. But no, I think it's something, yeah, hopefully, you know,
Hopefully, it's something medicinal, so to speak,
yeah.
something that's not quite a big deal. I'm just surprised to hear something like that would be a problem with the World Baseball Classic. I don't know what country or group of countries kind of runs it, but that's just kind of my. I just thought that was a weird possibility that that might be what that is.
Well, on top of that
Um,
too, it'd be weird that it would be against their rules, but MLB would allow it because you figure MLB would have some strict rules in place too. So,
right. That's why I definitely. I don't know. It to me, it feels like it's not a uh improving or enhancement drug. It's
yeah.
something recreational, probably, right? Um, which not don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. But that being said, like I don't know the fact that the MLB hasn't. I don't. Andrew, is there a chance the MLB isn't testing it because it's only spring training?
Um, I guess there's a slight chance, but they test pretty regularly. Like they'll do random checks,
That's what I
like
know during the
three
year
or
they do,
four.
but
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
even in the off season, that's how Max Kepler got caught. If you think about it, it was a random. When did
I
that
did
come
not
out?
remember that.
January, I think it came. Like, it wasn't even mid-season. Max Kepler, because he's a free agent, and he got caught, so
Yeah,
he kind of ruined his chances of getting signed by a team. And so yeah, I mean, is there a chance they haven't picked Rojas yet? There's a chance because it's all usually randomized where they'll just throw it in somebody's locker and they'll come back from like a game or they'll show up the next day and the test is sitting in their locker
that's
and they
funny.
don't know. So like, there's a chance Rojas wasn't selected yet, but I would think if the World Baseball Classic found something, you would think the MLB would test pretty quickly after that.
I'm very
Or they get the
curious.
same results, you know what I mean? Like, or
Yeah,
the WBC be like, he failed this. Here's what we got back if he's
I
against
think if
your
we
stuff
don't
too.
I think if we don't hear anything by tomorrow, that would indicate it's just not a problem. Because
I
let's
agree.
say Rojas hasn't been tested yet, then you have him. He's going to get tested tomorrow. He's going to get tested within 24
Yeah.
hours of this World Baseball Classic testing. Breaking news. So I think by the end of day tomorrow, which is by the end of Tuesday, March 3rd, like if we hadn't heard anything from the MLB side, we're not going to hear it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. So it came out late Sunday, so people know, March 1st. Because it was about right before I was getting ready to go to bed. I saw it.
so I still
So you're
give them
looking at,
today.
yeah, you're
I
looking
still
at
give them
48
today.
hours by the end of
Yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah, I agree. All right. Well, that's what I said. Like nothing too. We don't know if it's good or bad, but it is up in the air. It is a weird situation. I feel for him because I think it's become pretty popular to, want to go and represent your team. You know, USA winning gold medals in both women's and men's hockey series. Like it's really exciting to get to go do those things. And the World Baseball Classic is a great version of that. And so it's a shame. I feel bad for him. I hope it's doesn't affect his MLB-ness.
Seriously.
Let's move it on. Oh, we have not talked about Castellanos being he.
Cut, released.
I mean, released was the Andrew just cut. Released. Castellanos released from the Phillies roster to be picked up by the San Diego Padres the next day, give or take. I don't think any of us are really surprised. I think what was surprising was what's come out since that happened was apparently when Casty got benched, he opened up beer in the dugout, and that was what started the whole skirmish between him and Topper. I don't know. Castellanos definitely was bringing all the wrong feelings and vibes into that dugout by the end of last year. And I mean, it just had to happen. It had to be a move that had to happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, no question about it. I
And
mean, I've always
unfortunately is the right word here. I just want to add that. Yeah.
yeah, no, I've always liked him. I mean, I know he didn't live out to that contract he signed, but his production was still good for certain spots in the lineup. And of course, if you get a little overpaid, anybody's going to take that from a from a general manager. And in baseball, you don't have a salary cap, so it's not like it really hurts you too much to overpay for somebody to get him there. And that's what the Phillies did, coming off a career year. And he had some good season and good moments, and was a big time moment hitter for you at multiple walk-offs. And yeah, unfortunately for that incident, I mean, it was kind of a childish move by him. I mean, in the end, I mean, no one's gonna fault Topper for the move he made in that situation. Like, you were winning by 1 run, and you put in a guy better defensively. So you did something to help your team late in a 1 run game and a division game too. So I mean, no one can fault Rob for what he did. And yes, I'm not saying what Nick did was great, but something had to be said, in my opinion, after that whole incident. Because to me, you can get over someone bringing in a beer into the dugout. Like, yeah, it's a great
When
note,
did he
but
like beer wasn't in the dugout fridge? Was it a warm beer in his bag? Where did it come from?
well, they got the locker room. Now he went back to the locker room and got it. He got pulled from the game, went to the locker room, came back with it. And again, something had to be said that really hit deep because, and that stuff hasn't been released yet because there's no way that incident is what, like, to me, there's just something more had to happen.
It's
Like,
just
again,
too innocent almost, right? Like
yeah,
that just
like,
doesn't scream
again,
cut.
no one's saying, yeah, bring beer into the dugout, but two grown men can get
Are you
over that.
kidding? Are you
Like,
kidding? Back in MLB Prime, they were housing beers in the dugout like
that's what Ricky
regularly.
Vitalico said on the Fanatic. He was like, that'd be nothing for us. We would just run
that
it all the
that
time.
was what they were born
Yeah,
to do was drink beers and hit baseballs.
exactly. But no, I think it was also funny the way he released all of it was just the most Nick move too. Writing a 4-page paper handwritten and posting it to Instagram. It wasn't like a fancy
It
graphic
was
like you see
so
everybody else do.
weird. It was
It
hard to
was
read because you had to like zoom
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
zoom
like,
in.
and
And
you're
his
like, all right,
handwriting wasn't the
well,
greatest.
what's his hand? Right, well, is that an R? Is that an N? What am I
At that
looking
point, I
at
was
here?
almost like, let me let the reporters just put all the quotes on X and they'll figure it out.
I
But nah,
couldn't I couldn't determine if that was him half-assing a goodbye, like I'll just write it, and he's like well now I gotta take a picture, or if it was him literally trying to be an asshole one final time and be like Look, these guys trying to figure this out.
I just think it was a mix of who he is, to be honest. The way he does his press conferences and everything too. Like
It was
that's just
very a him move
he's
regardless.
so laid back. Like I could see him not even just knowing how to really do any of that stuff on Instagram.
Yeah,
Like honestly, like I think his first thought would have just been, I know how to post a picture.
yeah, yeah. Exactly,
But
exactly.
yeah, I mean, I hope he has a good year. I wish him the best, and um, again, I've always
Yeah, I don't
liked
know. He's
him.
on the Padres. I
I always
do hate.
liked him, so I hope he has a good year.
I do like. I agree. I mean, I'll never
But
forget the Castellanos double home run playoff night I got to see with our dad. With dad.
yeah,
I mean, that's a highlight moment for me, just in life in general. And so much so that that single night was the reason I went out and got a powder blue jersey. Like, I just loved having Cassie on the team. This is very similar to James Harden, except I'd say Cassie even more so like special to me. Like an absolute like very special player to have on this Phillies team, part of this team through and through, with just an absolute dirty end to the career here. And it sucks to see him go. But that being said, you have room for Reese Hoskins now. So why isn't that happening? Just saying. Let's move on. Anyway, moving on to some good news. I'm gonna kind of slow us into it. We've got Zach Wheeler kind of gearing up a late April return. He's been throwing some pitches. He seems to be rehabbing well.
yeah, it sounds like all good things. He had a couple bullpen sessions, and everything's gone really well. And now he's ready to kind of take that next step and keep vamping up the workload. And I mean, you've heard nothing but really good things, and you worry about something like that with velocity and stuff, but it sounds like his velocity is still there.
Do
Um,
we know is he kind of holding back? Is he 100% like as far as like his throw? Like what? Where are we
I
there?
think he's close to 100%. I don't think they officially said, but they said the big thing last week that always is the a telling thing is when you not necessarily have that first big workout, it's the next day because they said you can always get through it with adrenaline and stuff and feel fine, but it's how you feel the next day. And he said he felt great the next day. So that was the big thing. I think that was Sunday on Sunday's broadcast against the Yankees is when they're talking about that. So I think he's supposed to throw again maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday. So see how he does there, and then hopefully get a couple of minor league starts once the season starts, and then have him up pretty quick in April. But I think he's ahead of schedule. I think originally when this all happened toward the end of last year, he's expected to be like mid-May, end of May. So I think he's a few weeks ahead of schedule, which is good and exciting. And I think. Unfortunately, you're not going to just get him right back going 7 innings. I think you might see a couple starts when he does come back, like a little 5 innings, rebuild that arm a little bit. So I think you'll see that, and that's kind of how they'll get him ready to stretch him out to the end of the season.
Yeah, but I think that's an appropriate way to start. Yeah, I think with MLB, with how long it is, the whole summer, it makes sense. I don't even like, even though he's gearing up for an April return, I see no reason to rush into that at all. Like let him ease his way back in, which is a long process, and so his longevity isn't affected by that. And that being said, we do have the luxury of possibly not needing him right away with Andrew Painter, who seems to be our top rookie prospect, coming in to take the fifth starting pitching spot.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, after the struggles we saw last year, and I didn't really take too much away from that because it was his first year back off of Tommy John. So I think he was just kind of trying to get the innings back underneath him, and he finally made that long-awaited start in spring training, and got the start against the solid Yankees lineup with most of their starters in it, not everyone, but most of it on March 1st, Sunday afternoon, and he threw 2 innings, only threw 20 pitches. He was told he was getting 2 innings, and he made the most of it. Two average 10 pitches an inning, was in and out, got a couple strikeouts, and all nothing really hard hit contact, all pretty soft contact too, which was big. So no, I loved what I saw from Andrew Painter, and obviously can't take too much. It's kind of like preseason. Can't take too much because yeah, it's still not everything full go. So you gotta see what he does in the regular season. But definitely a very telling sign for one of your better prospects, and especially for an organization that usually waits a while to bring these guys up.
Yeah.
And I think pending anything crazy here in spring, I think he's almost a lock to make it, especially with Wheeler's injury. So I think he's going to be your five, if not your four, depending on how they put Taiwan Walker, but you very well could go Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, Painter, and Walker. So um, I'm excited. I think Painter's going to have a big year, and you'll see that.
Now, Andrew, I'll kind of wrap this up by kind of elaborating on Painter just one more bit. But is Painter right now your highlight coming out of spring training? And if he's not, what is?
Yeah, I'd say him and the other rookie, Justin Crawford, would be my big highlights. Crawford expected to hopefully start the year in center field. We'll see. I think obviously you have Brandon Marsh out there. You'll have Adolis Garcia, who you just signed in the offseason. Expected Otto Kemp to get a little bit in left field. But I think they're going to give Crawford the majority of center field. Another young prospect. I think he's number three in your system or number four, three or four. And, again, with Painter coming up, you'll have two of your top five guys expected to make the opening day roster. And I think Crawford's going to be the everyday center fielder hitting in the nine spot in the batting order. And he's had nothing but a fantastic spring training. So very excited what I've seen from him too. Not a big power guy, but a guy that's going to make contact. He knows the fundamentals. I think this is the biggest difference with him and Rojas. When Rojas came up I know we always joked about it in our text was how much he struggled to bunt and couldn't just do the fundamental things to make up for some of the other stuff he lacked. Crawford has all those fundamentals. He's a good, really good bunter. He can steal. His defense is good, and again, he's a very solid contact. Will have minimal strikeout rate, and very excited to see it. Basically, just the two young rookies. Hopefully, continue to play well in spring, and then make that opening day roster, and then crack the starting lineup.
That's crazy. Young team, man. Gotta bring in the young guns.
And I think that's what the team needs too. I mean, you obviously
Yeah.
have the regulars and Harper, Schwarber, and all them coming back and get some of that young energy into the lineup. At least they're out, I guess.
Designed to play with the lights in the last 30 seconds of the podcast. All right. Well, before we go, I'm going to throw Andrew a curveball here. Andrew, thank you everyone for listening to Philly Sports Now, Philly Fan Podcast. So this is a Phillies focused podcast, but we are trying to get back into our rotation of one episode a week coming out, we'll say between Wednesdays and Fridays. We're still trying to narrow down what day going forward. But keep in mind, we are trying to do once a week. So keep an ear to the ground so you can either listen to us on Spotify or watch us on YouTube on the channel that is fully Philly Sports Now on YouTube. So thank you, everyone. Again, make sure you like the video if you've listened this far. Andrew, the curveball for you as a Sixers end to this episode. I'm bringing in our great segment of this old podcast, and that is what Sixers game in the next week should fans be watching?
What, Sixers game?
Yeah,
Um,
gotta bring in the curveball here. I mean, Andrew
uh,
will hopefully be giving us a little Sixers
it's,
update here, but for me and the fans,
I mean, it'd have to be. I think the Knicks are coming. No, it's the Spurs. The
that's
Spurs Tuesday
that's
night. The game at home. I think obviously Wemby coming to town. See what you can do. The problem is, I mean, it's tough with Embiid being out because it takes away from that matchup because you're supposed to have a fun down low battle there. But unfortunately, with the Embiid oblique injury, he'll be out in that game. But yeah, I still think the Spurs because it's on NBC, it's nationally telecast. They're actually supposed to do a fun little throwback to I forget what part of the 90s it was in, but when the 90s had, or the NBA was on NBC in the 90s, they're supposed to do like a fun throwback tribute to like back in those days, kind of telecast with some of the graphics and stuff. So everything with that, even without Embiid, I have to go that game.
well. I didn't want to interrupt you because I really like your answer, but considering this episode is at early as coming out Wednesday, maybe a different
That's true.
game.
I forgot about that. I say Monday, March 9th then, Cleveland. That's gonna have a good standings implication.
Hmm.
Obviously,
Yeah,
Sixers sit at
Cleveland
the
Cleveland doing pretty well, and uh, Cleveland stealing James Harden from LA, if I remember correctly.
yeah, they did. And they've been playing really well since acquiring him. So we'll see what happens. Sixers sit in the sixth seed right now, so you have to try to chase down and get to that four spot to get home court in that first series. Obviously, easier said than done with only a handful of games left, but yeah, it's got to be this week. Cleveland find a way to win that game and climb the standings.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Andrew, and thank you again, everyone, for listening to Philly Sports Now. Sorry, I just hit the mic. Don't know if that made a noise. Make sure you again subscribe on YouTube, Philly Sports Now. Follow us on Spotify, same thing. Thank you everyone for listening, and as always, ring the bell, go Phils. Good night.